It's a new year, I'm wearing a new sweater, and I'm excited for an all new season of the Wool Needles Hands Knitting Podcast. So, if you're as excited as I am, grab a cup of something cozy and let's dive in. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Wool Needles Hands Knitting Podcast. My name is Taylor, and I will be your host. Happy New Year to you all. It has been a little over 2.5 weeks since we last spoke. As you know, I went on break for the holiday, and it was much needed and really a wonderful time that I got to spend with my friends and my family and just get really cozy for the holidays. It's good to be back. I've missed you, and I have some really fun things that I want to share with you guys today. But before we get into any of that, I want to give you a couple of updates. As I mentioned on the last episode of the podcast, which was actually a midweek ramble a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to be working the Wool Needles Hands content into what I'm kind of calling seasons, if you will. So there will be 8 weeks of content and then a 1 to 2 week break in between another chunk of 8 weeks of content. By doing this, it's providing me a good chunk of time to devote to producing content, and then it gives me a little gap in between to kind of come up with new content ideas, get some new things together so that I'm ready to produce new videos for that following 8-week period. As you know, I am the only person behind the camera here. I don't have a crew. I don't have any employees. It is all just me. And this is my office or my craft space in my home where I film my videos and do all of that. And also where I run another facet of my business, which is Fiber for the People, a hand-dyed yarn business. You can learn all about that if you head over to fiberforthepeople.com. You can sign up for my newsletter over there. But that is all part of what I have going on. And so I am the only person here. And having an 8-week on, 2-week off kind of format really just helps to keep things working for me at a pace that's manageable for me and comfortable and keeps me from having any kind of burnout. So that is how we're going to be moving forward in 2024 and on. And I've decided to give each of those little periods of content, those 8-week chunks, underpinnings or themes, if you will. And I decided to kind of underpin this next several weeks of content on the theme of modification. Now, some videos that I upload will be more focused on this theme and some will be more loosely based on this theme, but I'm thinking a lot of modification and what that means in terms of knitwear and knitting from published patterns and how we can modify those to suit our own needs and our size and all of these different things. And I think that that's a really great kind of theme or topic of discussion to start the year out with, because I think it's so empowering to learn how to modify your knits, even if it's the smallest of modifications. So that's kind of what I'm going to be using to underpin most of the videos coming out in the next 8 weeks. And I'm really looking forward to that because I have some really fun ideas. If you have some suggestions within that realm or even outside of that realm that you would like to offer me for future upcoming midweek ramble videos, and if you are new to the channel here, those are videos that come out every Wednesday, and they're not necessarily podcast episodes. They're usually single subject videos where we dive or take a deep dive into one particular area of knitting and fiber arts. You can submit ideas for me over at the Wool Needles Hands website. If you go to woolneedleshands.com/tipline, you can leave me some suggestions over there for those upcoming videos. And if you have some ideas that might encapsulate the idea of modification, drop me a line and let me know, and I'd love to read some of your ideas. But that's where we're going to be going moving forward with this first 8-week season of the Wool Needles Hands content. Well, that's it for updates. I want to go ahead and get right into what I have finished since we last spoke. Now, there is an elephant in the room, if you will, and we are definitely going to talk about that, but I wanted to give a really quick moment to the socks that I knit for my son's kindergarten teacher. So you may remember before Christmas, I was knitting a pair of fire pit mitts for my oldest son's 3rd grade teacher, and I was knitting a pair of what I was assuming they were going to be Sunday socks by Petite Knit for my youngest son's kindergarten teacher, but I ended up kind of straying from the pattern pretty early on, and I don't have those socks with me. I finished them. I was working on them down to, like right down to the wire, and so I needed to get them blocked and to his teacher right away. So I didn't have an opportunity to take really great pictures of them, and I certainly don't have them with me now. But I do have this one photo to show you. And you know what? I have the yarn that I used. Just a second. Okay, so these socks that you see on the screen right now, they started off as Sunday socks by Petite Knit. I started knitting the ribbing of the ankle, and I got to a certain point after folding the cuff over and getting a nice double thick cuff of ribbing where I just wanted to stop ribbing and go straight into stockinette to kind of work the socks up a little faster, but also because I liked the idea of less of kind of a utilitarian looking sock and more of just kind of a standard slipper sock with a nice double thick collar. So I went straight into, or not collar, cuff. So I went straight into stockinette stitch and then worked the sock from there all in stockinette stitch. I made modifications to some of the shaping around the ankle. I did a little bit, and off the top of my head, I can't tell if the picture shows it. There is a little bit of shaping at the ankle. And then I think that was it. I don't think I did. Yeah, I didn't do too much else. There's a heel flapping gusset here, which in the Sunday Socks by Petite Knit, it's actually a short row heel. I wanted to do a heel flapping gusset for these to give them a little bit more of kind of a rustic classic sock look. And then stockinette stitch all the way to the toe, and then your basic, I don't know, decreased toe, evenly rounded and decreased toe with a Kitchener stitch closure. But that's what they are. They turned out fantastic. His teacher really loved them, and I absolutely love them as well. I knit them using, here, what you see right here. So these are 2 skeins of Fiber for the People yarn. This is up here. They're actually both chestnut bark. The colorway is chestnut bark, but this yarn is a fingering weight 80% alpaca, 20% nylon. No, that's not right. What is this? Okay, I've got it. I don't know why this was confusing me, and I actually think I think I said this in the last time I shared this, but this top skein of yarn is a merino cashmere silk 4-ply, and this bottom skein of yarn here is 100% baby alpaca, and they're both in the chestnut bark colorway. It's a gorgeous colorway that will be coming back to the shop very soon, but I love this. So I paired these together, got the socks that you see in the photo there, and I love it. The fabric is just like butter. The alpaca content is pretty high because there is an entire strand that is 100% alpaca, but it's paired up with the merino, the cashmere, and the silk, and I believe that that's going to hold it up really, really well and keep it from stretching out and losing its shape. I will keep posted with my son's teacher to find out how she likes them. She happens to be a knitter who watches the podcast, which is really awesome. She was a viewer of the podcast before I even knew her as my son's teacher, and so she knows all about, knits and yarn and how all of those things work. And so she and I chat about things like that. But I'll keep posted on that. But they came out fantastic. I love them. I want to knit a pair for myself just like that. I love the idea of kind of the thick ribbed cuff that you see in the Sunday sock, but with a really nice stockinette basic vanilla sock. Otherwise, with a heel flapping gusset, it just really looked just cozy and chunky and lovely. So those are gone. They made it out before Christmas break. I had them boxed up and ready to go on the 15th of December, along with the fire pit mitts that I shared in the previous episode. And I couldn't be happier. It was so nice to make something like that for my kids' teacher. And yeah, I felt really proud of it. And I also just felt really happy to give them something really nice and warm and cozy like that. So that is one finished item since we spoke. Of course, the fire pit mitts were finished. The next thing that I finished, and I just finished this, you guys, like earlier today, is what I am wearing right now. Now, if you've been with me for a while, you know that this is, number one, this is the Stripe Hype sweater by Veronica Lindberg. And this was not going to become a sweater. I had started it, well, it was always going to be a sweater, but it got to a point where I was going to scrap the whole thing and give up on it and throw in the towel and all of that because I thought that I had made some pretty dire mistakes and that it just wasn't going to work out. And I will actually link to the podcast episode where I dive into this whole thing about how this sweater wasn't going to work. I'll link to that down below and you can hear the backstory. But I decided to stick it out based on the comments that a lot of folks left under that particular video. I decided I was going to stick it out. I knew, or I assumed, I was overthinking all of my issues, and I'm really so happy that I did. I kind of want to take it off for you to, well, I'm just going to leave it on. It's fine. It's really a great sweater. I'm so happy I finished it. There was no real reason for me to think that I needed to scrap it. I think that it's just a perfectly lovely sweater, and I really do like it. All of that being said, I will say, actually, you know what? Okay. I'm looking at myself on the screen down here so I can kind of know where I want to go with this. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to show you the sweater before I talk to you about my thoughts on the sweater. I'm going to let you see what it looks like on me. And then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's do that now. So again, this is the Stripe Hype sweater by Veronica Lindberg. I'm going to move my chair out of the way. Here she is. Let's do a little turn around here. You can see nice, thick. I did a Italian bind off, so it's got that nice rounded edge there. I did the same on the sleeves. You can see that. Same, obviously, on that sleeve. And then I did it around the neckline. Now, okay, so this little thing that you see here where you have like the strip of color around the top, I think that looks really cool. It's a fun detail. I decided after doing it here that I didn't want to do it anywhere else. I believe the pattern calls for it on the cuff and on the hem, and I just felt like it was a little too, I don't know. I don't know. It's not that I don't like it. I just didn't want it on, I wanted this to be plain and leave it at that. So I decided to not do this on the cuffs or on the hem of the sweater, and I'm really happy that I decided not to do that. Let's see, anything else that I did differently here? Well, first of all, I believe that the sweater here is too big for me. Okay, so it's not that it's too big just in general. People can wear sweaters that have this much positive ease. They really can, and it's not an issue. But it's bigger than what I was planning on it being. But you know, when I think back on looking at photos of this sweater on Veronica Lindberg, I honestly feel like it kind of looks pretty similar to how it looks on me here. There's a lot of positive ease in the body of the sweater, and it cinches in down here at this like waistband. I don't know if there's as much in the sleeves, but you can tell that the sleeves are pretty substantial, but it's so cozy. You know, I'm going to turn my camera just a little bit. We're going to go over here a little bit. Okay, I can stand better here. Okay, so I don't know. I really love it. I feel like it kind of has this like dumpling look about it. I don't know what I mean by that. Other than that, I just feel like I said to my husband, it's my dumpling sweater. I don't even know what that means, but when I look at it, the way that it has like all this extra volume here in the center, it kind of looks like a dumpling sweater. I don't know what a dumpling sweater is. It definitely disguises the fact that I have any chest to speak of. I do, but you wouldn't know by looking at this. And somebody had mentioned that in one of the episodes where I was trying this on and sharing it, that it kind of doesn't do anything for my feminine figure, if you will. But it's fine, you know, it's fine, whatever. I think I'm gonna stand because then I can just point things out. The shape of the sweater is not the most flattering on my body. When you look at it, it looks cozy and comfortable and casual, and I really do love it for all of those reasons, and I will definitely wear this. I know I will. But when it comes to this drop shoulder construction here, this is all knit contiguously, so this is not knit in pieces. All of these seams that you see are picked up. So like stitches are picked up around the sleeve, and then you knit your sleeve. Everything same running down here. Everything is knit kind of, you knit one section and then you pick up stitches to knit the next, and you pick up stitches to knit the next. So everything is essentially knit to create one piece, but you're knitting it modularly. I don't know. And I just don't know if that drop shoulder construction with the weight of yarn that I have here and the kind of extra volume I have going on, I just don't know if that's great for my body shape. I tend to think that I have shoulders that kind of are broad, or that come out. I don't know. I always have thought I had broad shoulders. And so I just don't know. Does this do anything for me? I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't have a very flattering shape. And like, look, you can see like right here, all this, and then all this. Maybe this is where I get the dumpling feel from, because it sticks out in the back and sticks out. Look at this. in the front. I mean, there's potato sack? Does that come to mind? There's lots of room. Like if I really like it. It's comfortable. Everything looks pretty polished. It's a thick yarn. I don't know, what am I trying to say? Very rustic fabric because I'm using, this is Fisherman's Wool by Lion Brand, Patton's Classic Wool Worsted. You can kind of get up close there with the fabric. I love the yarn. You know how I feel about both of those yarns. I love them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, there's nothing about it that's causing me to be like, ooh, I don't think I'm gonna wear it, or I would definitely do something different here. I kind of always knew going into it after that whole situation, I knew it was going to be not perfect or not ideal. I always knew that, but I always or I started to realize that it's not worth scrapping it, that it's going to be a comfy, cozy sweater that's worth having, and it's super warm and it looks cute. Like it looks cute. I feel like it really does. I mean, yeah, it's got volume, but who doesn't, you know? So yeah, so this is my stripe hype and I'm happy with it. I'm gonna turn my chair. I guess I could just finish the rest of the episode like this. It's a little bit of a slightly different angle than usual, but that's fine. Here, hold on, let me, yeah, we're just gonna finish it like this. Yeah, so I like it. If you like the way a drop shoulder sweater looks on you, if it's a construction that you like, this is a really great pattern. The pattern is very easy to follow. I think that this is kind of how much ease the sweater is supposed to have. I don't know. Maybe I could have gone even smaller, but I knit the smallest size. So I think that I mean, I could have figured out how to grade the pattern to my own size, but I just went with the smallest size and this is what I got. Had I knit my actual like size with this yarn, I mean, we'd be looking at a much bigger sweater. But I'm really happy I finished it. I don't regret it at all. I don't have that like weird pit in your stomach feeling of having finished something that just has some kind of fatal flaw that makes it where you know you're not going to wear it unless you rip back several inches and fix something. I don't have that at all. I feel like, yeah, it's done. I like it. It's got this cute vibe. I'm going to put it in my hand knit wardrobe, sweater wardrobe, and I'm going to wear it. And I feel like that's pretty good. I feel like that's winning in my book. And that's good. So I'm happy that this is done. Stripe Hype sweater is finished. If you're eyeballing the pattern and you'd like to give it a shot, definitely do it. It's a great pattern. It's an adorable sweater. I mean, yeah, it's cute. Here it is. See? It's cute. I would, if I had to do anything differently, like if I could just snap my fingers and like fix something really quick, it would probably be the length. I would give it maybe just a little bit more length than I did. But then at the same time, I kind of like this length because it sits so that I can almost do that little like front tuck thing. You know, it can be tucked to the front of my jeans or like these like joggers I'm wearing. It works out. But if I needed to, or if I, like I said, I could snap my fingers, maybe I would add a little bit more length. So yeah. Happy with it. Love the Italian bind off. If you've never done an Italian bind off, I don't know if it's called a tubular, I think it's a tubular bind off essentially. If you've never done that, you guys, it is so easy to memorize. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it to do it. It gives this really lovely clean edge. I wish the tubular cast on were as, not that it's difficult, but I wish it were as easy, I don't know, simple as the tubular bind off is. But either way, the tubular bind off is definitely worth doing. Yeah, so there it is. The Stripe Hype sweater is finished. I can move into 2024 and know that this is off the needles. Which kind of takes me to the other sweater that I was knitting along with this that is also being knit contiguously. It is sweater number 18. Just a moment. Okay, this sweater, I didn't plan on bringing this out, but it makes me think that I ought to. This sweater, which is living in my Jezebel B 100% leather, gorgeous project bag. I absolutely love it. It smells amazing. This is sweater number 18. And this is by my favorite things knitwear, and holy moly, a bunch of stitches just slipped off. Oh gosh, never a good thing. Oh Lord. It's like the kind of stitches that you just can't really tell. Ew, no. What are you? Are you a knit? Are you a purl? What in the dickens? Is that even a stitch? I don't know what that is. What are we doing here? Is it supposed to be a purl? Okay, so here we are, sweater number 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This one is knit using that same contiguous construction. You pick up stitches and you create the sections in kind of modules, if you will. I'm a little nervous about this one only because the fabric is much more textured, which is going to give it a little bit of a density. Fortunately, this is a woolen spun yarn, so it's naturally lighter weight than what I have on here. The sweater I'm wearing is pretty heavy. This wouldn't be that heavy, but I'm a little worried about this because of this, all this like fabric hanging off the edge of my shoulders here. I'm wondering what that would be like with all of that texture, if it would be too much sweater. I'm not thinking I want to scrap this yet. You know, I don't even know. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't know if that's what I want to do at all. I kind of think that maybe I should see it through. So this is another sweater I have on my needles right now. Now that my stripe hype is finished, that I'll be able to devote some time to. However, I will not be devoting much time to this right now because I've actually cast it on to a second Frankensweater. If you have been watching the podcast for a while, you are familiar with the Frankensweater. It is a sweater that I knit a year ago. It was completely improvised. I used bits and pieces of little things I picked up along the way in terms of style and I don't know, design elements that I liked from previous sweaters that I knit, and I kind of Frankensteined them into one pattern or one improvised sweater, if you will. So I'm doing another one because I wanted to work through my notes and kind of perfect my notes a little bit. And I also wanted to take folks along on the ride with me. In fact, if you are members of the Patreon, you're familiar with the Franken-KAL. This is a knit along that is going on over on Patreon for the Wool Needles Hands members that are tier 2 or tier 3 members. It's a really awesome knit along. I am essentially from the ground up developing a pattern for this top-down raglan sweater that is essentially kind of a model of the Frankensweater, and we're loving it. It's really an awesome experience. We have our cast on day officially. Our cast on day is tomorrow, but we've been talking about it and planning, and I've been spreadsheeting and size grading and all of this for the last couple of weeks. And if you'd like to get involved, definitely head over to Patreon, check it out, see if it's for you. But that is what I have on my needles right now, is my second Frankensweater. I don't have a lot going. This is just the collar, and I am actually getting a jump on things, even though the cast on day is officially tomorrow. I wanted to get myself a jump on this because there are a couple of things in my notes that I want to test out as, you know, before we kind of all cast on together. I want to make sure that I'm there, like I'm up ahead to check and make sure things are clear before everybody follows me, if that makes any sense. I've mostly specced out everything, but there are a few little tweaks that I think I'm anticipating that I need to make, and so that's why I'm casting on a little early. But this is what I have so far of my collar for the next Frankensweater. This is going to be knit double length and then folded over and tacked down to create kind of a really lovely double thick rolled collar. And I'm super excited about that. So this is going to be Frankensweater number 2. I don't believe that it's always going to be called that. We shall see. I'm knitting this using Patton's Classic Wool Worsted in this really pretty kind of, I want to say, it's got a little bit of an ashy purple undertone, and it's 100% untreated wool. And then this is Fiber for the People, Kid Mohair Silk, and it's in a really lovely taupe colorway called Fleece. These two together are so beautiful. There's both of those together. It's going to be a really lovely, just classic warm gray sweater. And I'm really excited about it. So that is the beginning of Frankensweater number 2, and I'm really excited to keep you posted on this. I will be sharing all of that with you on the podcast as I make progress, but like I said, if you would like to participate in the knit along, definitely check it out over on Patreon. You can join Patreon for free. There are posts and content and things over there for free members, but if you'd like to get involved with the knit along, it is a paid membership perk only, but you can check it out, see if it's for you, and we would love to have you join. And that is kind of where this is coming from. But I will be sharing my progress with you here on the podcast as well, and I can't wait to make a little bit more progress with that because I love the color, and I feel like it's going to be a really nice, soft, kind of classic piece to add to my hand knit wardrobe. Well, that is it for me. First video of 2024, a nice, easy, low-key reintroduction into filming. It is so good to be back in front of the camera with you guys. I have missed you, like I said. The community here at the Wool Needles Hands podcast is really wonderful. And so when I haven't been in front of the camera filming, I can feel it. I miss the camaraderie and I miss having that opportunity to share things with you guys. So I just want to say thank you. Happy New Year. I hope you all are well and enjoying the start to a really fantastic new year. It's good to be back and I'm excited to bring new content your way. I will be back with you on Wednesday for the first midweek ramble of the year. I have a fun topic to share with you. And don't forget, if you have ideas for future midweek rambles, head over to woolneedleshands.com and drop them over in the tip line. I read through all of those. I don't always respond. I get a lot of those coming in, but I do read through all of them. And that is where I get ideas for future midweek rambles. So definitely do that. I would love to see what kinds of things you guys have on your mind. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend or wherever you are and whenever you are. Until the next we meet, happy knitting, happy making, happy whatever it is you're doing. Take care, be well, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Hi! Abracadabra, ziggity zap. Bye bye.
They've all disappeared.
Abracadabra, ziggity zap.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
I love you.